A dark woman, head bent, listening for something. A woman's voice, a man's voice, or voice of the freeway. Night after night, metal streaming down coast, past eucalyptus, cypress, agribusiness empires, the salad bowl of the world, gur of small planes dusting the strawberries, each berry picked by a hand in close communion, strawberry blood on the wrist, malathion in the throat, communion, the hospital at the edge of the fields, prematures slipping from unsafe wombs, the labor and delivery nurse on her break, watching planes dusting rows of pickers. Elsewhere, declarations are made. At the sink, rinsing strawberries flocked and gleaming, fresh from market. One says, "On the pond this evening is a light finer than my mother's handkerchief, received from her mother, hemmed and initialed by the nuns in Belgium." One says, "I can lie for hours reading and listening to music. But sleep comes hard. I'd rather lie awake and read." One writes, "Mosquitoes pour through the cracks in this cabin's walls. The road in winter is often impassable. I live here so I don't have to go out and act. I'm trying to hold on to my life. It feels like nothing." One says, "I never knew from one day to the next where it was coming from. I had to make my life happen from day to day. Every day an emergency. Now I have a house, a job from year to year. What does that make me?" In the writing workshop, a young man's tears wet the frugal beard he's grown to go with his poems, hoping they have redemption stored in their lines. Maybe we'll get him home free. In the classroom, 8-year-old faces are gray. The teacher knows which children have not broken fast that day, remembers the Black Panthers spooning cereal. I don't want to hear how he beat her after the earthquake, tore up her writing, threw the kerosene lantern into her face waiting like an unbearable mirror of his own. I don't want to hear how she finally ran from the trailer, how he tore the keys from her hands, jumped into the truck and backed it into her. I don't want to think how her guesses betrayed her, that he meant well, that she was really the stronger and ought not to leave him to his own apparent devastation. I don't want to know wreckage, dreck and waste, but these are the materials, and so are the slow lift of the moon's belly over wreckage, dreck and waste. Wild tree frogs calling in another season, light and music still pouring over our fissured, cracked terrain. Within 2 miles of the Pacific rounding this long bay, sheening the light for miles inland, floating its fog through redwood rifts and over strawberry and artichoke fields. Its bottomless mind returning always to the same rocks, the same cliffs, with ever-changing words, always the same language. This is where I live now. If you had known me once, you'd still know me now, though in a different light and life. This is no place you ever knew me. But it would not surprise you to find me here, walking in fog, the sweep of the great ocean eluding me, even the curve of the bay, because, as always, I fix on the land. I am stuck to earth. What I love here is old ranches, leaning seaward, low-roofed spreads between rocks, small canyons running through pitched hillsides, live oaks twisted on steepness, the eucalyptus avenue leading to the wrecked homestead, the fog-wreathed, heavy-chested cattle on their blond hills. I drive inland over roads closed in wet weather, past shacks hunched in the canyons, roads that crawl down into darkness and wind into light, where trucks have crashed and riders of horses tangled to death with low-struck boughs. These are not the roads you knew me by, but the woman driving, walking, watching for life and death is the same.